From now on, we will learn how to deal with stress successfully. There are several things that can be stressful in our daily lives. External stimuli that can be stressful are called stressors. Depending on the person who receives the stressor, the experience may be very different and may be considered good stress or bad stress. If you can control the stressor, it will be adapted. However, if you cannot control it well, it will cause maladaptation and various effects on your mind and body may appear. How do you deal with stress when you are feeling stressed? There are various ways to deal with it, such as listening to your favorite music, exercising to distract yourself, having someone listen to you and gain sympathy, or working to resolve the cause of stress. SOC can also be utilized as a means to cope with stress. Translated literally, SOC is said to be a coherent sensation, and that the world in which you live is a coherent and convincing sensation. SOC, founded by Dr. Antonovsky, is a common health factor for people who endure extremely intense stressors and traumas, yet maintain physical and mental health and are successful in coping with it. It has been generalized and conceptualized as a stressor and the ability to deal with crises. SOC is considered to be a stress coping and health-generating ability that protects itself from various stressors and crises, maintains health, and feeds on growth. SOC is said to consist of three main elements. The first sense, graspability, is the feeling of understanding one's feelings, thoughts, and surroundings. It is the ability to understand the situation in which you are placed and predict the situation that will occur in the future. The second sense, processability, is the feeling of believing in the power of yourself and others, and being able to cope with things by relying on this belief in yourself as well as others. It is a sense of trust in yourself and others that you can handle the situation. The third sense, meaning, is a sense of interest and hope in one's life. It means that one can feel a sense of reward and meaning in daily life, including overcoming the challenge of dealing with stressors. By having a strong SOC that includes these three elements, people can mobilize various resources to cope with the situation, maintain their health, and even use it as a source of growth even under stressful situations. It is a belief that you can. Thus far, we have introduced SOC as a useful force in dealing with stress. So how can we strengthen SOC? Depending on the content of the stressor, general resistive resources can transform the stressor into a useful experience and become a good life experience, which is believed to enhance SOC. General resistant resources comprise internal resources, that is, resources such as knowledge, identity, rationality, and flexibility, and external resources, including the availability of social support and social services, that is, such as family and friends. When dealing with stress, it is important to mobilize available resources and deal flexibly. Good life experiences are divided into three main categories: experience of consistency, experience of balancing underload and overload, and experience of participation in result formation. The first experience of coherence is based on rules, discipline, responsibility for rules, and clear overall values. The second experience of balancing underload and overload is the ability to handle a balanced experience between demands that are beyond the abilities and means of a person, and weak demands that do not require a person to fully use their abilities and means. The third experience of participating in result formation is the experience of being willing to accept the tasks ahead of them and deciding what to do, or not to do, in order to take responsibility for completing the tasks. It is believed that by having such experiences, SOC will be formed and strengthened throughout the life. The three elements of SOC are useful for dealing with and coping with stress. When you feel stressed because you have gotten stuck or something has gone wrong in your daily life, please remember that to understand your condition, to use your ability or rely on support from someone or from social services, and to think about the meaning of the experience when you have overcome it are important skills. By knowing the services you can use on a daily basis, expanding relationships you can rely on, and challenging yourself and succeeding in the little things, reliability in yourself and those around you may increase. When you take on a challenge, you can rest assured that the guidelines are clear for how much you should do and how much to take on to ensure the balance of the load matches your ability. We hope that the stress coping methods introduced here will help you as much as possible.